Content warning, y'all. We have lots of fun making this podcast, but remember, we watch a lot of R-rated films, use language that reflects that, and joke about heavy topics to create levity around these themes. If that doesn't feel safe or could be triggering, please take care of yourself. We want you to have fun listening too. This also means we might not be suitable for children. Oh yeah, and we spoil the end of all the movies we pod about. Thanks for listening.
Hello friends, Keith here. I just wanted to drop in an extra little content warning ahead of this episode because this movie does contain more than one depiction of sexual assault that we do describe and talk about in some detail. It's not super graphic, but I did want you to have the heads up. Thanks for listening.
Ready to kill her yet?
Who? Hetty?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's kind of fun having a girlfriend again.
I can tell. I was worried for a while there you were so down. You're starting to look like a Kennedy wife.
This right here, this is censorship. Right here. The fact that I have to go on to my own podcast, which is not monetized, to say what I think and feel.
I wrote down...
Welcome to the Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
I commit to jokes by whispering the rest of them once I've decided not to tell them. I don't know.
You see how I lean into the mic to do that? I lean into the mic to shake my head at you.
How about this, Z? How about... You were just shaking with such ferocity that you thought the mic would pick it up. A note I wrote. So today we're talking about single white female. And a note I made while writing this down was, and they were roommates.
That's the tagline to the movie.
And they were roommates.
You're just a single white female living in the city because you dated Steve Weber. You came from an unnamed small town from the Midwest, probably, and you hooked up with Jennifer Jason Leigh. Then she turned out to be a little cuckoo, probably from childhood trauma, and now all your friends are dead.
So yeah, this movie basically stars three people, and
I don't think we need to. I summed it up perfectly.
End of podcast. It's Bridget Fonda, as Bridget Fonda.
Famous for her toes.
Jennifer Jason Leigh as Bridget Fonda's body double, and
Despite their height difference.
I know. Steven Weber as
himself.
a dick. Yeah. And a couple tertiary characters. And that's it.
There's really like 5 people in this movie.
I know. Which is sort of impressive.
Yeah.
But it's wild to me when that happens.
Based on a novel.
I know.
By John Lutz.
By no. I think it's called SWF Seeks Same.
Yep. You're correct.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the differences in the novel are. I'm curious to read it, but like, also like, okay, so the premise, if you've never seen the movie, the premise of it
Which
is
I had not.
Yeah. The premise of it is just basically like Bridget Fonda and Steven Weber are engaged to be married. And it opens with them like in bed together, being like, how many children do you plan on having? And her saying, you're the only friend I need, which I'm like, yeah, y'all are on a great track
Healthy.
yeah. This seems healthy. Who needs boundaries? Who needs anything? What? Why are you laughing?
One of the other books by this author who wrote this from 1998 is this called Oops.
Oops, I shouldn't have written that one book. Yeah, so in the process of them being in bed together and Googling over how much they love each other, it comes out via answering machine that Steven Weber fucked his ex-wife. And then they break up. And then she's talking to her gay neighbor, played by a man.
You can just say Gaber.
That's fair. And he's like, okay. It's this weird thing of like, this is a thing that's very confusing. So like, it opens with them being like, we're going to get married and we're going to have children and we're going to be so happy together. And then like, it's revealed that he just like fucked someone else on a whim. Cool. And then like lied about it.
She was really
or whatever.
depressed.
And then, like it's everyone's like, you're so hasty to just dump him. You're not even gonna hear his side of it. And I'm like, what? But also, she's immediately like, well, in order to not take, she's like, I know I'll just end up taking him back if I live alone. So I have to get a roommate. So I have someone to make me feel less alone.
Yeah, it's not about economics at all.
Right, exactly. Like
because
she's
it's rent controlled.
It's rent controlled. She has an amazing rent controlled apartment. She's like making tons of money because, like, yeah, she's like financially fine. But she's like, I need a roommate. And she's not allowed to have a roommate, so it's like she has to lie and like
because it's rent controlled.
Yeah, because it's rent controlled, she's not allowed to have a roommate. Yeah, whatever. But she can get married
in this huge.
Here's the thing, though: she can get married
right.
and it's fine. But like, if she has a roommate, then it won't be rent controlled anymore. Okay, what? Doesn't make sense. But
Touché.
Whatever. Anyway, so then she like
I don't know how New
lies
York rent control works.
and sneaks someone in.
I don't know enough science to dispute it.
So she sneaks someone in who, weird that someone who's like chill with being like snucked into her apartment and like
Snucked.
Yeah, hidden from everyone to keep a secret that she has a roommate who is literally just there for her own codependent needs.
Right.
Turns out to be like kind of weird and kind of creepy.
To go back even further, that someone who, when they show up to inquire about the room for rent, walks in all the way into the apartment far enough to where Bridget Fonda has sort of collapsed into a ball and is crying by the refrigerator in the kitchen. Comes right up to her and then is like,
knock, knock.
Doesn't say anything until she's right on top of her and then knocks.
Well, yeah.
On the door frame.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Excuse me. Hi. Hi. The front door was kind of open. Are you Allison Jones?
Yes. Oh, Allie.
Oh, I'm Hedrick Carlson. We spoke on the phone this morning. Are you sure you're okay?
You know what? I'm not. Would it be all right if you, came back tomorrow?
Why don't you just sit down?
No, I'm fine.
Let me make you some tea.
I don't think I had lunch, that's all.
It's a shocker when nobody has good boundaries in this movie.
Yeah, I know. No one has good boundaries.
Also, I do like that Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, Hetty, which is a nickname for Hedra.
Which I couldn't remember her name, so I just called her Hydrant.
Yeah.
In all of my
or
notes.
Hydra.
Well, I didn't want to call her Hydra because I knew that I would think that that was actually her name. So I just called her Hydrant in my notes because I was like, I don't know what her name is. I was like, it's Hydra, or it's Heidi, or it's Hattie, or something. See, I was literally in the middle of watching the movie. I was like, I do not know what this character's name is. I'm just gonna call them Hydrant.
Yeah.
Because that's how great I am at fucking retaining.
That's fair. Once I clocked that it was that they were calling her Hetty. I'm like Hetty Lamar, which is short for Hedvig.
You did say that, and I was like, I literally don't even know if they're calling her Hetty.
Yeah.
I was like, you said that, and I was like, I don't know. Because
Right.
I was like, are they calling her Hetty? Is that her name? Is it Hattie? Is it Heidi? I literally had no idea.
Hydrant. The end.
So, yeah, but, like...
Wait, I was going to say, when they're first talking,
Yeah.
she's like, oh, you just broke up with your boyfriend? Is there any chance you guys are going to get back together?
Yeah.
She's like, because I don't want to move in, and then you...
Yeah.
So I don't feel sorry for her, because she saw it coming.
Right, yeah. Well, but no, but... I mean,
Yeah,
like...
but no, but yeah, but...
but no, but... She's like, yo, I know that this seems like a red flag to me, so... And she's like... And then, but, like, I do see it more as, like... I still see it as, like, Bridget Fonda's shit. That she just does it anyway.
Well, yeah.
Immediately. Because she's like, I need to know that you're not going to do this. And she's like, of course I'm not going to do that. That'd be so
Why
stupid.
would I ever do that?
I would never do that. And then immediately she does it. And she's just like, I literally was, like, worried about this. Like, I literally didn't want this to happen. And she's like, oh, well, I don't know. Sorry, I have a life. And I'm like, fuck off. I don't.
No, I'm not saying it's not
There's
real.
Like yeah.
Also, I said this when we were watching it. I was, like, having not seen it at the time or ever before this. And in my mind, it's in a category of movies that I did similar kind of, like, you know, some woman gets scorned and takes revenge. This genre that took up a lot of the 90s and made a lot of money for a lot of men, probably. So I put this movie in the same category as, like, Sleeping with the Enemy or Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct. So I was pretty surprised when we watched it. And I'm like, oh, these people are very young.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just the actors. I think the characters are probably supposed to be in, like, in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Which is when you would make these kinds of mistakes. Like going on a killing spree because your roommate
doesn't
broke
want
a
to fuck
promise.
You. Yeah.
Been there.
The thing that there's, like, a few things that,
So
like,
when I say I don't have any sympathy for...
You mean you don't have any sympathy for past you?
Well, that's definitely true. Also, I'm incapable of empathy for women in general.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Especially single white women.
Yeah.
In New York City in the 90s.
Also, like, she's so sad that she has to live by herself in this giant, gorgeous, amazing apartment in a gorgeous apartment building that's rent controlled. Oh my God, I feel so sorry for you. I'm
the kind
so
of thing that
sorry.
There have since been movies and documentaries made about how these kinds of buildings no longer exist in New York.
Exactly. It's like I would love to live there. I would fucking love to.
Yeah,
live
it's gorgeous.
There.
Apparently the
but
building...
also I really want her to get, like, some furniture. Like, I guess no one told her not having a bed frame is really bad for you. And she just, like, sleeps on the fucking floor. She literally has, like, a nightstand and a bed on the floor, and that's her whole bedroom.
There's that nice little love seat or whatever.
In the living room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm saying in her bedroom. It's just a bed and, like, a little nightstand. And then
but as you pointed out, there's, like, at least 2 tables.
There's so many fucking tables, but they all are, like, weird. You don't see that. Like, they just move tables around the apartment, but then you don't see where they end up. You're like, did you throw them on the fucking street? Like, what happened?
They also, even if this is not the case, because they are carrying one together.
Yeah.
With all the shit on top, and then they drop
and
it.
then all
But
the
it
shit
looks
falls
like
off of it.
it looks like a table made from like 2 sawhorses and a plank of wood.
100%. Yes. Like, I like how we're talking about this movie. We're like, okay, here's their furniture issues, though.
Guys.
This is, you won't believe how stupid their tables
Also,
were.
I hate shit like this because people do this. They take this nice looking lamp and
Painted it 1992 beige.
correct. It was fine. It was black.
Yeah.
Or metal.
Yeah. Could you imagine painting metal? Like,
I can. I think I've probably done it,
gross. You have to break.
I can't ethically imagine it doing it now, but
Also, the one scene where she's like, so like, Bridget Fonda's like a business lady doing things, and she's like,
she's got her own independent consulting firm where she's got her own software
that she developed.
and that lets you apparently just do
I don't know.
apparel modeling.
I don't know. It wasn't very clear what it actually was. Like, it lets you like try on different I don't understand what it was for. But I mean, like, I love the computers, and like she's like packing it around and like showing
Her fucking laptop.
Oh god, I fucking love it. It's like so ridiculously like heavy and so ridiculous. Anyway, whatever. So, oh yeah. So I was like, I don't even remember what I was going to say. So she's like all savvy. She's got like all these nice clothes. She's, like really, really put together.
She's so New York.
Yeah. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh comes in, and she's just like wearing like really dumpy clothes, and like she has like really tired hair. That hair needs a nap. It is tired. And it's just
looking like
Juliette
Lewis.
And she says, legit, and like, but like a bad impression of Juliette Lewis.
Not that bad.
So, and there's this one scene where Jennifer Jason Leigh is like, "You always look so put together." She's like, "How do you learn to dress that way?" Which I get. Like, I get that, because there are people that I'm like, I don't understand how you can look like that. Like, you're wearing just like leggings and a sweater, and you literally look like you just like fucking stepped out of like, I don't know, a magazine. Yeah. Like, I'm like, how do you do that? And I wear leggings and a sweater, and I look like someone's like comes up to me and is like, "Are you okay?" So I get that. How do you learn to do that? And she says, Bridget Fonda says, "I think you look very comfortable."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, that's so shitty.
Inaccurate.
Like, well, yeah, it's accurate. But like, also, like, I think she doesn't look bad.
No, of course
Like,
not. Because it's a movie.
Well, I mean, no, they make her look bad in a lot of it, but like in that particular scene, she's
Well, yeah,
just
in
like,
every other scene, she's wearing like just a fucking tunic.
yeah. But in that scene, she has like a floral dress, and it's like kind of like nice.
Isn't she wearing overalls or something?
No, it's like she got
looks
like
like
long
Blossom.
sleeve. Yeah, kind of. But she's wearing like a long sleeve sweater, and then like a short sleeve dress.
Long sleeve tee.
Not a long sleeve, shirt, not sweater. But and like a short sleeve dress over it. But it doesn't look bad. Like I don't think that. I feel like if Bridget Fonda put that on, it would look really kind of awful. Like, I think, like, you know what I mean? So, like, it's one of those things where it's like, but yeah, anyway, whatever. I'm going way into this. And just
no, I know. It's just, yeah.
But, like, there's so many things.
God.
Oh. Like, at first it's like, so this is a thing where it's like, come on, Bridget Fonda. She's like, super all about her roommate, and they get like a dog or whatever, and it's like, well, yeah, I know she tricks her into like loving a dog. How dare she? But like, there's like all kinds of no. What I'm saying is, they're literally like sleeping in the same bed together and like hanging out all the time. Yep. And then Weber shows up unannounced, and Hydrant's done some sketchy shit, but she's worried And she's like, "Are you okay? Do you need me to stick around?" Because she knows that he, like all this stuff went on between them. And she's like, "I'll be fine."
no.
But listen to what
Wait,
I'm
no, I
saying.
want to set it up a little bit because what you left out is that Bridget Fonda comes home to.
Yeah, him just being there, and like Hydrant like tried to like she's like. Because, like, Bridget Fonda's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, wait, listen. She's like, hey, I need to tell you something. And she just won't, like, shut up.
Right.
And then Steven Weber walks out, and she's like, oh, what's he doing here? And she was like, dude, like, you literally wouldn't shut the fuck up.
His entrance,
I know.
where he's holding the puppy, and he's just, before you see him, he's like, woof, woof. And then he comes around the corner holding the puppy. What? Not menacing at all.
Right. So she's like, "Are you okay? Do you need me to stick around?" She's like,
tried
"No."
to warn you.
Yeah. She's like, "No, it's fine." And they like have coffee or something like that. And then she just like stays over at they just like end up like she leaves with him and stays the night at his place. And like the roommate's like calling and is like, "Hey, like I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, I haven't heard from you." And she's like, really, like, she's at work and calling, the house. And she's, because she had to leave for work and she left them alone there. So she's like worried, because she knows. And she's like freaked out because, like, fucking, Bridget Fonda's just gone when she gets home. No word, no note. And they have a dog, so I'm sure the dog was freaking out and shit like that, and like all this stuff. And so Bridget Fonda comes home and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna end up like getting back together." And she's like, "Dude, where the fuck were you?" And she's like, "Wow, you're acting like I'm 16." And I'm like, No. I'm not saying that she's like handling it the best. However, your really awful, shitty ex shows up, and then no word, you're missing.
Yeah.
And you're pissed because your roommate's like, "What the fuck, dude? I came home from work and you weren't home and you've been gone all the fuck night. Yeah. What the fuck was I supposed to think? Yeah. This is goddamn New York. Like, shit.
Things happen.
Yeah. Shit happens." And I was like, no,
No, 100%.
And I don't think, I mean, obviously, like, she handled it bad. But I'm like, y'all literally, that's what I'm saying. Like, you were sleeping in the same fucking bed together. You guys were, like, hanging out constantly. And then, no word, you're missing for, like, 14 hours? Yeah, she has a right to be like, "Dude, that's fucking, like, that's not our arrangement.
Not cool,
that's
man.
not what we have going on. That's not how we interact." And it's like, it's made to seem like fucking Jennifer Jason Leigh is a psychopath because of this. And
well,
like,
I will say,
dude.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I would react the same way.
Right, yeah.
I will say that Bridget Fonda's character does kind of own it. She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't think." I mean, she was like,
right.
"I didn't think about it. You're right."
No. I'm saying, but what I feel like, she does, but I feel like the way that it's presented is that like Bridget Fonda,
like
is supposed to be like, you're supposed to be like, "Wow, this is really intense. I can't believe." And again, I don't think
possessive.
Yeah, like, "Oh my god, what the fuck," and like Bridget Fonda is like,
right.
"Oh, I hadn't thought of it that way," but also I'm like, why didn't you add a line of, "Okay, you're an adult. Why didn't you think of someone else?" Like, what the fuck? And like, there's stuff like that where it's like and I'm not like, obviously, like the only, well, I don't want to say, not the only thing, but like, she does shitty, like, Steven Weber like writes a letter or whatever and returns the keys, and she hides the letter or whatever.
Yeah, Hetty intercepts it.
She doesn't, and like, he'll leave messages and she deletes them.
Uh-huh.
That's shitty. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, like, do you know how much I would, and again, I'm not saying she should have deleted them, but do you know how much I would have fucking hated to like be living with someone and hear like your shitty ex-boyfriend be like, "I miss you, baby. Please call me.
Well, and
I didn't mean to fuck my ex-wife and then come and fuck you and then lie to you about it. It was an accident. My dick fucking slipped into her vagina. Fucking,
well,
I can't
I've been
help
there
it."
too, so I can't judge. I mean, I've been the ex-wife.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean,
I know.
I've been Steven Weber. But
Weber.
like a whammy bar. Weber bar. Weber Grill.
Ew.
Bar and Grill. Weber Bar and Grill. Okay. But, like, also if she hadn't hidden all those things and deleted those messages,
Right.
don't you think Bridget Fonda would have been like, fuck this guy? You
I
know
don't
what I mean?
know. No,
I know.
because like the second he shows up, she's like, "Okay, put your
I know,
dick
but don't
into
you-
my mouth again. I'm
But
fine
don't
with
you think
it."
that's because there's, for her, there's been this gap? Where she's like, oh, okay, I've cooled off or whatever.
I don't
Cool
know.
off.
I don't know. It's
Cool off,
weird
Bob.
though because he did try to get a hold of her. Like she didn't miss all of them. Because
Yeah,
there
I
was like
guess.
times where she, so it's not like she had no contact with him. She
Yeah.
purposely was like, and that's another thing though, because she's like, hey, he's calling for you, and she's like, no, I don't want to hear
Yeah.
from him. I don't. So like, it's also like, and again, I'm not like excusing it or saying it's fine, but like, there was an indication that you wanted nothing to do with him. So I wouldn't necessarily feel that, like, if it was just like the letter is with the keys is too much, but like if it was just the messages, I'd be like, okay, whatever. She deleted the messages. I also refused to take any phone calls from you, so why does the
Yeah.
messages matter? You know?
No, I see that point.
And again, I'm not saying that she should have done that or that it's fine, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, it's not as insane as it's being painted.
No, yeah. And
you
to
know?
your point, I was going to say, because I don't disagree about
Yeah.
the tone of
Yeah.
the scene and its intention,
Yeah.
plot-wise, when she's like, where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
That is sort of the beginning of the ramping up of...
Yeah. Yeah. But like she's like, what are you doing in my room? And she's like, you locked the dog in here and he was freaking the fuck out, so I had to come in here because I couldn't sleep. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really think about that.
I mean, also, I just wanted to smell your pillows.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But also, you guys were sleeping in the same
Yeah,
bed
you
together.
were
Why
hanging
would it
out,
be weird that she was
watching
in your room?
movies and-
Like,
yeah.
and literally, like she was like in her room, like going through her shit before then too, like Bridget Fonda. So I'm like, okay, and
Yeah.
she's in your room, just holding the dog that you locked in your bedroom.
Right.
Where the hell have you been? God. Hetty, what are you doing in my room? I've been waiting since 6 o'clock last night to hear from you. I've been worried sick. But he was crying all night. I finally had to come in here so he'd calm down.
Sorry, I guess I just didn't think.
No, you didn't. And there's such a thing as a phone, you know? This is New York. Things happen.
Okay. I'm sorry, it was thoughtless. Really. Making me feel like I'm 16 years old here.
What? Like, why is that? Ugh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so like, it was like shit like that where it's like, you have, and I'm like, it's hard to talk about this without it seeming like I'm making. It's like if you have bad boundaries, if you have no boundaries, if you refuse to set boundaries, and then someone responds in kind, you can't get mad at them for doing
Right.
that. Like, oh,
That's right.
you refuse to have any fucking boundaries?
Somebody asks you for $5. They're going to get a punch in the nose eventually if I say yes every time.
But also there's this scene where like, and this is like something where I'm like, come on. So when Bridget Fonda is going through Jennifer Jason Leigh's shit, she finds her meds. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
isn't
I
that
know.
really awful that someone is medicated for their mental illness?
Yeah.
What a fucking crazy person.
But then it turns out they're just sleeping pills or something.
I don't know. I mean, it could
Well, remember, because she keeps...
giving them.
Bridget Fonda is the one that keeps taking them.
Well, well, here's the thing though. I mean, as someone who's been medicated before, you can have more than one kind of medication.
Hold on.
There could be
Hold
meds
up.
for every day, and then meds for when it's really bad and you can't get through the day and you need something a little extra. So who knows if there was
Again,
if that
just
was
shaking my head at the microphone.
exactly. I don't know, Z. I don't know, but it's just like it's stupid to like. I don't know. I felt like that was the beginning of like, can I trust her? She has doctor prescribed
Yeah.
medication. She's getting help for her issues. Fuck off. Like what? And I feel like this was kind of theme in like the 90s where like if someone was medicated, you had to be really worried about them. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
you know what? I think if they're not medicated, it's a little
Right.
more scary.
They see a therapist?
Exactly. Oh my God. You mean this person is aware of their mental illness and is trying to get doctor recommended help for it? What the fuck? I just use prayer
Ew.
and meditation. And look at me.
I
I don't
have-
know boundaries. I don't know how to.
I have healthy coping mechanisms like
No boundaries.
drugs and alcohol. And anonymous sex. Just do it like normal people.
Bing. Also, like, once she gets back together, this is like shit where I'm like, I don't understand. So, like, she gets back together with Steven Weber and he comes over and is like sleeping, like he's sleeping over. And like she gets up and goes to the bathroom and leaves her bedroom door open. And then like Jennifer Jason Leigh is like talking to him. And I guess she's just wearing a shirt and
It's
underwear. Oh my God. And he's just like in bed, just like talking to her. And she's just like, oh, I don't know. And they're just having like a really whatever conversation. And like Bridget Fonda comes in and they're just like, hey, what's up? And like neither one of them get weird or act and she's like, okay, good night. She's like being like really, really, really weird. And then like that's, Jennifer Jason Leigh's like, okay, sleep well night. And she just like walks off and then Steven Weber just like, okay, sleep well, and just like rolls over in bed. And then Bridget Fonda's like really like, oh, I can't believe
Then
I'm
later that night,
she
or whenever,
sneaks out with the puppy that they have and watches Jennifer Jason Leigh masturbate
like a crazy person. Who does that? Who masturbates?
in their own room
Ew.
in the middle of the night.
With the door open?
And then fucking, and also it's like, it's implied that the door's like open a crack, which like, it's whatever. And she's like pressed up against it with the dog. The dog goes, burp, and Bridget Fonda fucking like
Drops the dog, runs back to her room.
Literally just like
Shuts the door.
Literally throws herself into bed. Magically, Steven Weber is not even roused in this, so that's suspect. That's just suspect to me. Like someone can jump into the bed, and you're just like,
That male privilege, huh?
gets you through the night. And then like that, I'm like, why are you're shocked that your puppy made noise as you take the dog to? Oh my God. There's just so much where I'm like,
Not only that,
being a fucking creep.
In the process, she leaves the puppy outside the room, so it's crying and scratching at the door.
Oh my God.
So of course, Hetty is aware of all this and gets up and like opens the door to let the dog into their room and comes in and is like trying to figure out.
Yeah, like if she was awake or what. And imagine if you're like jerking off in your room and you think, and like it seems like it's possible your roommate was watching you or someone was watching. Because like also, sorry, but the partner of your roommate is a fucking creep. It's been established. And you were just jerking off in your room and think someone might be watching. So now you're like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Jennifer Jason Leigh, what a fucking psycho. She masturbates in her own bedroom in the middle of the night. Okay. What? Like, so much of it is like painted so, like, and it's just like, there's like some of it where I'm like, no, Bridget Fonda's not like the one that's, I mean, like up until Jennifer Jason Leigh starts killing people, it's really kind of a toss up over which one's the bigger asshole.
Yes.
Because like, yes, absolutely, like Hydrant is doing all kinds of stupid shit, but like Bridget Fonda has set up to where she's like, don't let anyone see that you live here. Don't let anyone. And she's like, yeah, I freaked her out about like no one knowing that she lives here. And I've made her know that like she can't like be seen by anyone. And so like she like is like trapped in her building. And like, but like she's holding down a job. She has a job.
Which is where?
A bookstore.
Well, that's right.
She's like got a job in a bookstore that she goes to regularly. It's like, so she's medicated. Like maybe she's got some problems, but she's doing something to get better.
Right.
And
Just
like,
because she's not
perfect,
somehow middle class, even though.
Right.
Anyway, I did not understand the point of this scene. So help me out if.
Okay.
It's like the first time I think that Allison, Bridget Fonda's character, follows Hetty and realizes that she's... So Hetty gets her hair done in the same style as Allison's.
Right.
Which is too bad for everybody.
I kind of like the hairstyle. I mean,
I guess it's better than...
It's pretty much Tasha Yar hairstyle. It's just like the fact that it's like one tone.
It's like a bowl cut.
Yeah.
Anyway... So that happens, and then for whatever reason, Allison follows her Hetty as she leaves one night, and she's sort of dressed as Allison.
She's just wearing like she's wearing
just a black dress, right?
Black dress, yeah.
Anyway, she follows her
to
this sex club?
SM club.
But we get sort of Allison's perspective, POV, of watching Hetty go...
Wait, before... I want to set this up, really, before...
Okay.
So this is...
What I missed.
Immediately after Allison finds all of the... so...
All
Hetty
the
told
letters
her,
and stuff?
Yeah. So she finds, like, the letter from Steven Weber. She finds, like... Because she said her sister died in she was a twin and her sister died in childbirth. She finds like twin pictures of the two of them. She finds evidence that her sister died, and she finds out that she's not named Hetty at all, or whatever her fucking name is.
Oh, your name is actually
it's
Ellen or something.
Yeah, it's something. And but again, I'm like, what does it matter? Like, you're the one that decided to not do any kind of background check or whatever. I'm like, okay.
Right. And you found this out because you specifically went into someone's closet and were like, oh, there's a shoebox up there that I want to
exactly.
open.
Like, you sought it out. And so she goes through all her shit and she sees that and here's the thing, as someone that doesn't go by their legal name, it's not that scary to me if someone's getting a letter addressed to a different name than the one they have.
Correct.
Especially like possibly a queer person. Not weird to me at all. But whatever, what do I know? I'm just someone that does that. So like, it's annoying. And, like her being like, oh my God, her name's Ellen. It's like, oh, wow. Also, there's no like middle name on that. So her middle name could be Hydra or whatever it is.
Hydrant.
Yes.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Could be Ellen Hydrant Birch or whatever it is. So like, there's all kinds of reasons why she might be using a different name. I know so many people who use different names, first and last names.
1,000%.
I know so many people. And like some people I know, they just used different last names because they liked it better.
Yeah.
And they just do it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
no.
Legal names don't have to mean shit. So anyway, so she finds all this shit out.
When it
and
comes to the mail.
So then she tries to go talk to Graham, I think.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think he's home or something like that.
Okay.
So she comes back downstairs and she sees her leaving. And when she sees her leaving, she decides to follow her. Uh-huh. So that's why she's like, ooh, she's all suspicious of her or whatever.
Okay.
And she gets to the club, and it's an SM club. And first of all, again, here's another reason why I don't care about Allison or whatever. She gets to an SM club. She goes in, and everyone's like, what's up? Do you want to participate? And she's like, ew, no. And she's like so fucking pissed off. She's so grossed out. Everyone that's consensually doing things is like disgusting to her. She's like horrified that anyone would be there. Literally nothing is happening. Literally people are just standing around. You don't see anything that's going on. Anything that's going on is in a separate room, like behind like a wall or something, so that you don't just because guess what? I don't know if you're aware of this, but people involved in S&M are extremely fucking vigilant about goddamn consent.
Right.
If you're doing it right, then you give so much of a fuck about consent that at a fucking sex club, you're going to have all these activities in a room behind a wall so that no one has to accidentally see something they don't want to.
Right.
And she's like kind of watching, and someone sees her and walks out and says, would you like to participate?
Right.
And she says no. And then they start following her, and that's supposed to be creepy. No, I'd be a little weirded out too. I'd be like, you're in a sex club.
But also,
being fucking weird and walking around, and I don't recognize you. So yeah, I'm gonna follow you around a little bit and make sure that you're behaving.
That's
That's
a good
fucking
call.
normal.
That's a good call.
It's fucking normal. Oh my god. Then
Well, I don't remember that we see Hetty actually inside the club.
we do. She's at the bar.
Oh, right, with the Steven Weber lookalike.
And she's like, you look just like my sister's boyfriend. And that's when Allison starts crying and runs away and then finds Graham and like... Go ahead. I have to piss.
Finish your sentence.
Oh, no, it's fine. I have to pee.
So according to the trivia, that's a real club, a real BDSM club called The Vault, a.k.a. the Hellfire Club.
Ooh.
But the entrance is to a gay club called The Manhole. Oh, I wanted to say earlier, all the exterior shots of the building, the apartment building, is of the Asonia.
Okay.
I don't know. Just that's the name of the building.
All right. Okay. Wait, I threw my notes.
Why you do that?
Take a piss.
So also, my memory of the like ads and whatnot for this movie, I thought that like stuff about Hetty's character taking on like wearing Allison's clothes and getting her hair cut like her and stuff was going to be way more pronounced. Like she was actually there was some psychological aspect to her, like becoming that character. Like I thought she was going to, from what I remembered of that impression, I'm like, oh, does she just kill her and take on her identity?
Right. Yeah. But also, like, again, fucking Allison is like, you can wear my things anytime.
Correct.
I want you to feel like my stuff is like, and when she does, she's like, wow, yeah, this is fucking rude. And then she like goes into like Hydrant's closet and starts just looking around and just starts taking shit. And then when she gets back to her, she realizes that like Hydrant's just bought like similar clothes to what she has, and it's like, oh, that's creepy. No, it's not. Like, first of all, you told her to borrow anything anytime, and then anytime she did, you got fucking weird about it, so she just bought her own.
Right.
Okay, big deal. Also, if someone like there have been times where people have been like, oh, I really like that.
Where'd you get it?
Yeah.
And then they get one.
And then they get something like it or like exactly like it or similar.
Don't tell me we have the same build.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, what? I don't.
I mean, that's also
not weird.
That's also some classism. I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
definitely gotten shitty when I think someone is like biting my style or whatever. When I
just don't-
flatter myself to think that like, oh, you got the same T-shirt from Meyer.
One time, a friend and I were dressed almost exactly the same at work.
Twinsies.
And I mean, she's like a tall, very gorgeous woman, and I was just like a nerdy looking,
Yeah, you're none
Whatever.
of those things.
I'm not tall. I'm definitely not tall. And she's like tall and wears heels and just like looked really nice. And I was just like, I'm wearing whatever I can. But we dressed almost exactly the same. And we saw each other and we were like, what the fuck? And we took a picture and posted it. And we were like, haha, we're dressed the same. Oh, wow. I wasn't like, girl, you're dressed like me. That's kind of fucking creepy.
Okay, but you weren't roommates.
And they were roommates. I just smacked the mic. It's probably going to be
I didn't hear it, so.
Okay. Yeah, there were a couple times, I don't know, in the pod that I've I've let him tell you. Where I'm like, oh, that's gonna come through really loud, and I don't hear anything.
Yep.
So
So you probably quit saying it.
also, like, okay, after the SM club, she goes upstairs and because she can hear, they have the fucking air vents, and she can hear everything that they're saying to each other.
Who?
Graham. Yeah, she goes upstairs to visit Graham. Is that his name? And
the Gaber.
Yeah, and Hydrant can hear everything that Allison and Graham are saying to each other. And it's all just her being like, she's a fucking liar, and she's not trustworthy, and I'm scared of her, and oh my God, I don't know what the fuck to do. And Graham's like, you need to get her out right now. She needs to be out of there. If you don't call the cops, I'm calling the cops. And I'm like, ooh, what's it like to be white and middle class? And like, so Hydrant freaks out. Sorry, I might freak out too if someone was like, oh, I went through all her shit and now I want to kick her out. I'd be like, now, okay. I don't think she should have gone in and beat the shit out of Graham and like tried to kill him or whatever. Probably not great.
Probably not.
Probably not great. I'm not saying like that's excusable, but yeah, I might get a little anxious.
Yeah, a little bit.
I would not be, and at first, like, it's presented as like she just sneaks in to like see what's going on. Okay, kind of relatable. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say relatable. I would never sneak into someone's house. My anxiety is way too fucking bad for that. I couldn't. But I'm like, okay, well, she's trying to like, you know, I don't really know why she sneaks in, but it's apparent that she's like not trying to like do anything. And when she tries to sneak out, Graham catches her. Like, Allison leaves, and then she tries to sneak out, and Graham catches her. And he's like, oh, come on, we're going to get you help. And she's like, no, this doesn't feel good. And again, yeah, why would that feel safe? Like, why would any of that feel good? You just overheard him saying, if you don't call the cops, I'm going to call the cops. Right. You know, like, she's a psycho, she's dangerous, all this shit. Yeah, I might feel a little bit like...
Well, she does kind of panic, right? She's like, no.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She's literally, like, crouched on the floor, and he's like, come on, we're going to get you the help you need. Which, yeah, don't say that. You know?
I know.
Like, just be like, oh, I'm sorry. I said a bunch of shit, scared you. I'm sorry. You know, I was upset for my friend.
I mean,
don't be like...
She did sneak into his apartment.
I know, but I'm saying, like, he's like, we're going to get you the help you need. Which I feel, it's like being like, I'm just going to call the cops and they're going to help you. No, that's not what's going to happen. Don't do that. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, you're not saying the right shit to someone that's clearly, you know... But he keeps, like, coming at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And she's, like, putting her hands out and being like, no, please, no, please. And then she ends up hitting him with, like, a metal stick or whatever.
Yeah, the thing that you see him repeatedly put in front of his door.
His door lock that's a metal fucking rod. And she hits him with that. And it's like, I'm not, again, it sounds like I'm totally defending her as a kid. I'm not. It's just, like, there's so many things where it's, like, it's presented as, like, she's a fucking she's a fucking sociopath. And you're like, no, she's someone that's being, like, terrified repeatedly. That's being, like, treated like she's disposable repeatedly.
Right.
And then she's lashing out. And then after that, she thinks she killed him. Spoiler, he's not dead. You think he's dead or whatever. And she, like, then starts killing everyone, like you do. My favorite part, though, again, this is another example of something that doesn't make any sense. So, like, Jennifer Jason Leigh, after she does this, has, like, a ton of remorse. It looks like she's really upset that she did this. Again, hey, I'm sure anybody with a conscience would feel that way. Like, it's and I'm not saying, like, she did anything right. It just sounds like I'm defending all of her horrible actions. It's just like it's presented as like such a fucking like, oh, it's so fucking crazy. And I'm like, okay, I don't think anyone handled this right. Anyway, she's in the shower. The shower curtain is open. Bridget Fonda walks into the bathroom and is like, hey, we need to talk. And she's like, "Okay, I'm in the shower." And she's like, "Yeah, but I'll make you some tea or something. We really need to talk." She's like, "Okay, fine." She turns off the shower, steps out, and Bridget Fonda's like, hides her eyes, like, "Oh my God." Oh, disgusted that she's like fucking naked in front of her. I'm like, dude, you were just staring at her in the fucking shower with the fucking shower curtain open. Walking in the bathroom while she's in the shower and literally being like, "Hey, I kind of want to be alone for a minute. Hey, leave me alone." And she's like very not responsive. She's like, "Yeah, we're going to need to talk." So she's like, fine, steps out of the shower. And Bridget Fonda's like, again, horribly disgusted that she's naked in front of her. Bitch, you watched her masturbate.
Yeah, right.
Calm the fuck down. It's so weird. Like, there's so many things where I'm like, I don't understand what this is. But the only, like, the thing that's weird to me is, like, the Steven Weber scene where she kills him.
Oh, yeah. After sexually assaulting him?
Yeah. I mean, that's weird. Like, how does she know where he lives?
Yeah.
Because that's not really, I mean, like, how did she get into his building?
Yep.
Know his apartment number?
Because she's dressed like
Right. She's
Allison, and the maitre d' recognizes her as Allison.
Right. But but she would just, wait, where's my phone at?
Girl, I don't know.
It's true, you don't. So, about this, so she comes in, she's supposed to be dressed like, or she's dressed like Bridget Fonda, and you're supposed to like, no, it's her.
You're right.
Okay. And then she, sexually assaults Steven Weber. And he's like, and it's like that thing where it's like, I fucking hate this theme where a dude will be like very much coerced or blackmailed or like just plain assaulted.
Right.
And then someone will be like,
by a woman.
Or, anyway. But like, I mean, yeah, it's usually women. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where a man is like, but anyway, whatever. And guess what? At the end, he's the asshole for sleeping with someone.
Uh-huh.
No, that's not how that fucking works. Like,
yep.
Wow, someone, and like, here's the thing, like, she's just gotten the haircut, and it's the same night that she kills, like, or that she tries to kill Graham. So, like, she's only just gotten a hair, like, it's literally the same day she gets a haircut, the same day she's, like, discovered as, like, having lied, the same day that she, like, smacks Graham in the head with a lead pipe, the same day that fucking Bridget Fonda's like, let's have a talk about,
me kicking you out.
Yeah, without warning. And then magically she goes to Steven Weber's place and sneaks in, gets into bed with him, sucks his dick, and he in the middle of it, he's like, "Oh, Hattie?" He's like, what?" And then he's like, No. And then, of course, he comes because, that happens sometimes with sexual assault. You're not wrong if that happens during sexual assault. You're not a bad person.
Assault.
Yes, you're not a bad person. It doesn't mean that you liked it happening. None of that. It doesn't matter. And she's like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit, and I knew it, and I'm gonna tell her." And he's like, "No, you're not gonna tell her." And she's like, "Fine." She's like, "But you need to leave and never come back, and then I won't tell her." And he's like, No. You don't need to tell her because I'm going to tell her. Like, right. I'm going to tell her everything that just happened. He didn't know and she's like, "You knew it was me." And it's like, how would he know it was you? He's right. Not seen your new haircut.
Right.
You just got it done. You were wearing her clothes.
I don't know if we said this explicitly. He was asleep when she came in the room.
Yeah.
And got in bed with him.
She snuck into his apartment and woke him up by sucking his dick.
Right.
And then she's like, "You knew it was me the second you saw me." And it's like, yeah, because he was asleep.
When I called you Allison and you said, "No, it's Hetty."
God. And then it's like, he's like a piece of shit. And then she's like, no, don't tell her. And then he like shoves her away. And then she like
Throws a shoe at him.
hits him in the eye with a shoe and kills him. You know, death by high heel or whatever. Like, what? Like, that whole scene is very confusing. Not just because, you know, it's a great example of a male character being sexually assaulted and it being treated like something he did wrong. Like, even though it's, like, very clearly supposed to be her having tricked him.
Right.
It's not, it's not called assault. It's not treated like assault.
Right.
It's not played like it's assault, but it's assault. Like, I don't, oh my God. But.
Well, but also that she thinks she can, that there's enough.
Yeah.
The social dynamics of it are that she can use that as something against him.
Yeah. Right. Like, what? Yeah. I mean, which is, yeah. Ugh.
I mean, I do appreciate that the movie has him be like, no.
Yeah. No, you're the one that fucked up here.
I mean, he is still a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's still a piece of shit.
It's not his fault that she did that to him.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. But let me read you this trivia about it.
Yeah.
About the scene. For the scene where Jennifer Jason Leigh seduces, I'll start over. Seduces is the wrong word, but whatever. For the scene where Jennifer Jason Leigh seduces Bridget Fonda's boyfriend without him realizing at first that she isn't who he thinks she is, Leigh was still having her makeup applied, so the scene was shot with Bridget Fonda playing her own double. It was only the first part of the scene where the woman gets into bed, shot from the back, which Fonda did as Fonda's character. The rest is done by Leigh. What? I mean, like, I know what it's trying to say, but it's done very not... What? Like, obviously, okay, Bridget Fonda was playing Bridget Fonda was playing Hydrant in the part of the scene when she first walked into the room. From then on, Jennifer Jason Leigh was playing Hydrant. That's all it has to say. Leigh as Fonda as Leigh. What? No, that's not. Also, they're not. Leigh isn't playing Fonda, playing Leigh. Bridget Fonda was playing Hydrant. That's it. That's all you. It's so simple.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway,
Star Bill Murray was slated to star in this movie, but couldn't star because he was starring in something else.
Hold on. What?
You got some more trivias?
No, I don't have more trivia. I'm just looking up the name of
Stephen Tobolowsky.
Stephen Tobolowsky plays the guy that is buying her shitty software or whatever. It's not shitty, but whatever. I'll just call it that because I don't give a shit about it. So like, he's like, oh, she has it set up so that I guess like her invoice is installed in the program, which is very confusing to me, but whatever. And it's like, oh, you're past due with paying. Like he's like, okay, show me how to use this software. He's like, my whole company knows how to use it, but now I don't. So now I feel stupid. And she's like, cool, I'll just give you a little example here. So it pops up and it's like, oh, you haven't paid her yet. And he's like, ooh, I hope you don't get mad. And she's like, it's cool. I have safety precautions if you don't pay me. So, I'm not worried about it. And he's like, what's that mean? And she's like, you'll see. She's like, whatever. And then he tries to assault her. Or he does assault her, really. And she, like, hits him, gets away. And then later on in the movie, it's shown that he is, like, they still haven't paid her. And so the software stops working and says, oh, because no payment was ever made, this software doesn't work anymore, and it will completely like delete everything off of your. You know, she has like a fail-safe installed, which I'm like, it's possible, but I don't think it would happen in the way that it, whatever.
Yeah.
So he freaks out and he's trying to get a hold of her. And like this is like, you know, Steven Weber just got killed, and then Hydrant comes home, and then Allison finds out Steven Weber's dead, so she knows that Hydrant did it. Because she sees
also,
a bloody high heel.
Yeah, right. Which makes no sense because there's no way there would still be blood on it after she walked home. But real quick, let me interject that.
Yeah.
After the client assaults her, and she tells Hetty about it.
Yeah.
Hetty calls the guy's house and is like, "Don't ever fuck with me, or I'll make your life a living hell. I'll come after your family."
Yeah.
You know, as though she's Allison.
Yes, I know it's late. Tell him it's Allison Jones. He'll take the car. What are you doing? Listen, you pathetic shit. You want to hold on to your business? No. You listen to me this time, asshole. If you trash me around town, you're fucked. And your family is fucked too. You got that? It won't just be you.
Right. But also, like, that's supposed to be like another thing where like Hydrant is a psychopath.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I don't care that he's being threatened. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
It's supposed to like.
Well, it's because she did it without. She just does it. She doesn't.
And also, like she doesn't. She's like, huh? Like, what do you think? And she's like, why would you do that? And she's like, what? And I'm like,
yeah. No, so much of it is like, oh, this person doesn't meet your middle class expectations about how to behave.
Yeah. What a fucking sociopath. Anyway, so, yeah, so he's like trying to track down Allison because the software doesn't work because he didn't pay her because he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yep.
And he walks in.
Also, he lowballs her.
Yes,
when he first hires her.
Like the whole.
He's been just shitbag the whole time.
Like, she gives him an estimate, and he's like, I refuse to pay you that. This whole thing is going to be about exposure for you. Like, I'll give you a client list. Then, when he, like, tries to assault her, he's like, no, I'm not giving anyone your name. Like, you're not getting anything unless you give me. So he, like, assaults her, doesn't pay her. She doesn't get the exposure she wants. And, like, then he doesn't pay her, and then his like software isn't working. First of all, I would just be like, you're shit. Like, even if like it wasn't other things going on, I'd just be like, oh, it must suck for you.
Right.
Whatever. I'm not gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to pay me in a 24-hour period. Like, there's no way. Anyway, whatever. So all this time, like, Hydrant has like Jennifer Jason Leigh like tied up. And there's this weird scene where, like, she's going to kill Jennifer. Or, no. Wait. Hydrant has Bridget Fonda. See, I don't know who any of these people are. Hydrant has Allison tied up.
Yep.
And she's about to kill Allison, and Allison kisses her to imply that she wants to, like, be with her.
Don't make me leave you.
Don't make me leave you. And so she, like, unties her, and they're going to run away. And, like, Allison's telling her that they're gonna like run away together and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
then,
so
like,
she gets on the internet to book a flight.
Yeah, so she gets on the internet and she's like, I can do everything.
1992
here.
internet.
Yeah, and she's like, what? That's crazy. And she's like, yeah, we can even purchase the ticket with a credit card. She's like, what? That's wild. I'm like, what? What?
I mean, in '92, that was wild.
I mean, but I think you could always buy a plane ticket with a credit card. I don't think that's
not on a computer.
Anyway, so she finds out that she was really just trying to put out a help me ad in the newspaper. Because, like, that's how she puts out the one ad in the beginning, is by using
it
her
looks the
laptop.
same,
And
yeah.
it's, like, exactly the same thing.
window.
She's like, help me. I am being held captive in an apartment that's not mine. And my name is Allison. Also, here's where I was born. Also, my
Here's my
boyfriend's
social
dead.
security number.
Also, guess what? I'm kind of hungry. I haven't pooped all day today. I'm really... And it's just, like, she just keeps typing. She's not just, like, SOS.
Details. I want to know details.
And so, like, Allison walks in. She's like, oh, my God.
But did you notice this?
No.
Because they make a big deal about, or not a big deal, but they...
Yeah, they jack her into the...
Yeah. She clearly plugs it into the phone line,
Yeah.
right? Because that's needed for the internet. But then Hetty rips the phone cord out of the wall, and the whole computer just goes blink.
Yeah. It's a dual phone jack power cord. But anyway.
And it has no battery.
So she's getting ready to kill... she's getting ready to kill Allison. And the guy who assaulted her and stole from her and threatened her and, like, is basically doing all this shit comes in...
Tries to destroy
and
her.
is saving the day. And I'm like, no, this motherfucker doesn't... I mean, like, he gets killed, luckily. Like, this motherfucker does not receive... He does not deserve... Receive what? He does not deserve to receive a redemption arc.
Absolutely not.
And it's
also,
like,
can you imagine being that guy who's like, I tried to ruin this person.
Yeah.
I tried to assault them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I assaulted them.
Yeah. The reason why we keep saying tried to is because he was, like, groping her and, like, doing shit. And then, like, in the process of, like, trying to unbutton his pants to do more, she, like, hits him in the crotch and then runs away. So we keep saying attempted because he was trying to do more. So I think we're, like, it's like he did assault her, but he was
correct
attempting to do more assault.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
But imagine doing all that and being like, no, I got to hunt this bitch down
to get
make the
my
software
client
work?
list back. I know.
What?
I know.
And he goes so far that the thing is,
he goes to her neighbor's house.
What?
Because he can't find her. He's like he's like, oh, I was told that she knows this guy, and so I'm trying. What the fucking shit? Like, that's, oh my God. I mean,
Wild.
like, sure, you know, I'm thrilled that, you know, he, and like, because he came in and did all this shit. I don't know. No, I don't even think it ends up, like, not even working. Like, he doesn't even help her.
Not really.
And then, but then it turns out that Graham was alive the whole time, and so he, like, tackles Jennifer Jason Leigh. And then they have a fight in the basement, and then it ends with, like...
Basement. Oh, right, because she's putting everything in the incinerator.
Yeah. Oh, it's been incinerated.
No
kid. No kid, that's been incinerated. Yeah, so... What? I don't... Oh, my God.
But didn't you get this voiceover at the end?
Yeah, of her being like, I'm trying to forgive her for having killed Steven Weber. Because she didn't forgive herself.
For
and I know what can
her
happen.
Her twin dying?
Yeah, like, first of all, it's very much implied that she killed her twin. Because she's like, this is what happens when, you know. And then at the end, they're like, her parents told me that she blamed herself for her sister's death, even though it very much was not her fault. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, what?
Also, I keep forgetting, but the opening scene is of two young, of two twin girls. Like,
who are the same girls that are in Kindergarten Cop saying, our mom says our dad is a real sex machine. They say it so, like...
Yeah.
Our mom says, like, I don't know how you can have so little emotion saying something. They pull it off really well. But yeah, like, it's so... And, like, there's a lot in this movie that seems like it's, like, homosexual panic, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And it's just, like, ugh. Like, and also, like, it's just, like, stigmatizing, like, essentially, like, anything that's not, like you said, like, anything that's not, like, white and middle class. Because it's, like,
The twins are Tiffany and Christy Mataras.
So, like, it's like the things that it gets weird because she's on meds. It gets weird because she's in an S&M club.
Yeah.
It gets
on her own
weird.
time.
Yeah, it gets weird because
Fucking
she didn't want to tell her.
At the bar,
Yeah.
even. She's not even, you don't see her like,
Yeah, she's not even like.
who cares?
Yeah,
She's a consenting adult, so who cares what she's doing in that club? But like, all
she's literally
all Bridget
having a
Fonda
drink.
sees is her just at the bar with a guy.
Yeah. What the? I mean, she does say like, "Ooh, you look like my boyfriend or my sister's boyfriend," which okay, she's calling Bridget Fonda her sister, but also.
Which is extra creepy because
Yeah.
she had a twin sister as a
Right.
kid
But
that died.
But here's the thing, like, she lied about her sister, how her sister died and when. Fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a really traumatic thing happen to you and you didn't really want to go into it, so you maybe were like, yeah, this thing
Make up
happened.
a little
Don't worry.
lie about it.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about it, though. It happened before I was born, so I don't have any memory of it. So don't ask me about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, and, it's like there's so much that's like, oh, she's so fucked up.
Yeah.
What a fucking fuck up. Also, she might be kind of gay, too. Ew.
Yeah.
What?
What is this, Killing Eve?
It's just so weird. Like,
No, and so many of these movies that we've watched
uh-huh.
and that they were just,
You're welcome.
the 90s are lousy with them.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, these women were probably abused or survived some traumatic event as a young girl. Never mind that it was probably their dad sexually assaulted them, but it means that they do horrible things to men when they're older.
Right.
They just fuck over men.
It's
They
like-
do these elaborate plots to steal their money or
Yeah.
like what?
Like, in the movie...
But it's so like it's okay. You acknowledge that where the
Right.
trauma comes from, but that you still villainize them.
Right. It's like Final Analysis where
Yes,
Kim Basinger
exactly.
plays someone who was like sexually abused by her father as a kid, then as an adult kills her husband who beats the shit out of her, and she's the villain. And I'm like,
believe she tried
because she murders him in a way that gets her the insurance money.
Yeah.
What a crazy fucking bitch. What?
Well, Basic Instinct.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh my god, Basic Instinct. That was one where I was like, I still don't understand
Yeah, I know.
half of that. I'm like, what? Because it's like the subplot of like Jean Triplehorn
Right.
was like knew who she was the whole time,
Yeah.
and like had a relationship with her, but that was
Right.
lied about. But like she wasn't but what? Like there was so much where they were like, oh, Jean Triplehorn is the
Triple cord.
I'm like Keen Cripplecorn. Like,
Queen Candy Corn. No, but I mean, there's so much, and Disclosure.
Oh my-
Woof,
I haven't
don't
seen
even
that
get me.
yet.
I know, but like, I feel like so many of these, especially in the
yeah.
because they're in the 90s and it was
Yeah.
the rise of Riot Girl.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot of backlash.
Yeah. Like, oh, women can be crazy.
I
too.
know a lot of the source materials were written earlier.
I promise not to go on a tirade, but this is kind of why I'm like, Gone Girl is not the fucking
Can
genius.
you imagine if a woman
What if a
was
woman
a horrible
was
person
a
too?
fucking psychopath?
What if there was a female sociopath? Can
What
you
if-
imagine?
What if all of these things that men lie and say are true about women were actually true about women? No,
Can you
I don't
imagine
want
that instead of a patriarchy, we had a matriarchy and it was still flawed?
Yeah, it's like, but like because of all these like fucking 90s movies where literally women are villainized to the core and like in every fucking way. I'm like, Gone Girl is not the fucking genius piece of art that every white woman, thank you very much, says that it is to me. I'm like, they're like, my favorite thing about, I watched Gone Girl, the film. I was like, this is a garbage film. I fucking hate it. It's very triggering for me because it's literally a woman doing all the things that men lie and say about it. I heard men say to me after watching it, that's why I don't trust women. That's why I hate women. So I feel like there's something about it that maybe isn't as good as you think. So I was like, oh, I fucking hate this movie. Everyone said to me, okay, I get that, but you really need to read the book to like understand. Like, and the book just is worse. Like there was nothing redeemable about it. It's very, 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 very cloaked in misogyny. It reads like it was written with internalized misogyny in mind. It truly feels like it's just a piece of work from someone with tons and tons and tons of hatred towards women. Like so many things, like attention whore is in there a lot. Like, I hate women, and like women are always horrible to me. Like, literally, there's a line in it's in the movie. I don't remember if it's also in the book. It probably is, where Ben Affleck is like, why do women always do this to me? And I'm like, no, no, no. Plus, he's like literally like cheating on his wife with like a 19-year-old girl. And he's like, women are the worst. Women are horrible to me. No, I think he says, why do women hate me so much? And I'm like, I can give you like a fucking like laundry list right now of all the reasons I fucking hate you. One, your face. One, your personality. One, everything you do, everything you say, the way you act, the way you are, who you are, your name kind of sucks. Everything. Like,
Yeah.
but like, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not really, like you said, it feels like it's in response to like any kind of feminism is like, okay, we're working really, 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 really hard to make sure that stories about women are real and like not, and like not even to mention fucking like, gender non-conforming people. Like, we can't even get stories about women. We can't even get stories about women, right? Like, I don't, like, fucking Jesus Christ. Try like anything about anyone that might not be in the binary is like, oh God. Anyway, just, yeah, this is a movie. I don't know why I loved this movie when I was like in my early 20s.
'Cause gay.
Yeah, probably. I remember it being way like, I remember it as implying Jennifer Jason Leigh was way like way more like queer, like
Right.
was way more queer coded
Yeah.
than she is.
Yeah.
And it's not. And that's kind of the most disappointing thing I found. I mean, not to say that I want her to be.
I really want queer women to be more villainized.
Right. Not saying that. But I'm like, wow, I don't know why I thought she was so queer, so much more queer coded than she actually.
Because they kind of kiss
I mean, yeah, they do kiss, but
when
like.
her life is on the line.
Right. I'm like, what? So it's like, but like, why would you think, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have the idea if like a woman had me tied up and a knife to my throat. I wouldn't be like, I'm just going to kiss you. I'd be like, no, this bitch hates me. Like, I wouldn't think that she wants to fuck me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can say.
Ladies, no. What do you
You think you know what you would do in those situations, but then
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you have no idea.
that is true, but I'm also kidding.
No, I know, but I think that's a fair point because it's like, everyone loves to say what they would do in a situation, but like, I promise you have no fucking idea what you would do in a situation. Yeah. I just mean what I mean is like,
I would just get out of the way of the jet engine. If there was a school shooter, I would just tackle him and take his gun and arrest him. Drive him to the police myself.
Oh no.
Sell his gun online.
No. Anyway, single white female. I keep wanting to say satanic panic, but I mean homosexual panic. Lesbian panic.
Lavender Menace.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well, Lavender Menace is the term used for in like, what is it, second wave feminism in the 70s, 60s and 70s. The want to exclude lesbians from
Gotcha. Okay.
feminism. I think the term, it's either credited to Betty Friedan, who was one of the people who wanted to exclude lesbians, or coined in response to
Gotcha.
her.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but it's weird because it feels like it's like there is no overt, other than the weird kiss that doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any other indication of like any sort of like sexualization or anything.
Except that you see Jennifer Jason Leigh's breasts a lot in this movie. So she's
No. I mean like towards Allison. Like obviously they're both
No,
sexualized.
I know. Yeah.
But like you don't see like she's not like even when she like takes her clothes off in front of her or whatever, it's always like she's not looking at her and she's like, "Oh, hey, you're in my room, going through my things. I'll just take my clothes off since you feel comfortable doing that." And then Bridget Fonda's like, "Oh my god, you're fucking psychopathic." And it's just like, "No, you're literally going through her shit and she's like changing in front of you. Like it's not that I think one is way more invasive than the other, and you probably aren't going to guess which. Like,
Right.
It's not so like, but like even that isn't. It seems like they're implying that Jennifer Jason Leigh doesn't have boundaries, or like she doesn't care, or like she's being creepy. But I'm like, Bridget Fonda is the one going through her shit. Bridget Fonda is the one walking into the bathroom.
I don't disagree.
But it's also doesn't feel sexualized at all. It doesn't feel like she's like she's not slowly taking off her clothes. You know what I mean? She's like doing a quick change, and she's like whatever.
I can't tell.
It's just weird.
I feel like it's almost meant to seem predatory.
I know, but here's the thing. I feel like people
Not exactly.
People of the same or similar, genders, or people with like similar body parts. I don't
Compatible
know.
body parts?
No. I mean, no. But even like, I don't know. I just feel like people change in front of each other, and it's not that weird. Like I've had friends take their top off and like their tits are out, and then they're just like changing a shirt, and it's just like whatever. And I'm not like, I'm just like, you feel comfortable in front of me. I've like gone to the bathroom in the same room as like someone else. Like we've gone to the bathroom at the same time, and it's not like a fucking creepy weird thing. It's just like you're having a conversation and you have to pee, and it's just like you just sit down, you start peeing, and then they sit down and they pee, and then you're like, let's continue the conversation in the other room. Like whatever. It's like, who gives a shit? So like for it to be like presented as such a weird thing, I'm like, but that's what you do. Like your roommates, you've slept in the same bed, you're going through her shit, and so she changes clothes in front of you, and that's what's weird.
Oh, I haven't said that this was directed by Barbette Schroeder.
It's true, you haven't.
Who also directed
Desperate Measures. Man, what if Michael Keaton had been Steven Weber's? Would have been great.
I'm glad he wasn't.
It's been a minute since
one of the first movies that I will say I'm glad Michael Keaton was not in this one.
Oh wow. Why? You don't want to see Michael Keaton's ding dong?
No, I'm happy to see that.
I like how it's like Steven Weber's ding dong was about to come up. I'm an adult. And you put you're like, you put your glasses on. Anytime there's like nudity in a movie, you're like,
yeah, man.
I want to see that ding dong. I want to see the boobies. I want to see that butt.
I'm a fan of the human form.
I know. I love it. I'm not shit talking it. I'm saying I love it. It's like I'm like, by the way, there's gonna be a ding dong scene soon. You're just like, thank you. You're a fan. You don't discriminate between body types. You want to see it all.
I get extra excited about male nudity, quote male nudity, because it's so rare by comparison.
But yeah. I do feel like it doesn't happen. And I feel like it's I feel like it's when it does happen, it's usually done for a laugh or something. It's almost never just like casually done, like how like the nudity of like cis women or anyone else.
Right. Well, and very lots of stuff have been written up along these lines that like if you were to see a naked cis male body and it's sexualized, that's going to freak too many people out, because it's the presumption of a straight male gaze.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
straight cis male gaze.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be thinking about another
Yeah.
penis.
There's a movie we should watch it. No, we probably can't because it happened in like the aughts. But we might make an exception. I know.
That's a rule you made up.
I know I did. But it's a movie where there's like a sex scene between Ethan Hawke and Angelina Jolie.
Gross.
Yuck. Not Angelina Jolie, she's fine. But like
Eh.
I'm not into her. I'm not like saying yuck about her is what I mean.
I'm saying yuck about the pairing.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to emphasize, but she's 100% nude, fully nude, and they're fucking, and he's wearing a whole entire suit throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not done in a way that even makes sense.
No, that happens all the time. That's how straight people have sex. Straight cis people.
Oh. No wonder I'm confused.
I'm as an ambassador to
the
straight cis world to the rest of the world. They wanted me to tell you that's totally normal.
Oh God. I think we've just spent like a half an hour just talking about the nudity.
Yeah.
So you can cut all that out.
That's what the fans want.
Yeah. Oh, girl. So anyway, yeah.
That's all I got. Really.
Watch this movie for Lesbian Panic, Flash,
and then be disappointed.
Steven Weber's Ding Dong, some weird wig usage interspersed throughout, and that's it.
Peter Friedman played Graham.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's all.
I got. Sorry. I hope that my stomach growling comes through.
There's no way. I'm sorry.
It was really loud. So, if your farts come through.
Would you recommend?
I don't know. See, this is the thing. I would say if you, like, for the reason, if you want to see a movie that's, like, ridiculously over the top.
See, that's the thing. I don't think it even delivers on that.
Yeah. I feel like it's just, like, it just takes such a leap to get to where it is. Yeah. So if you want to watch a movie that just, like, doesn't make any sense, is, like, very heavily 90s, like, style. Very stylized in the 90s.
Yeah, when they go into the sex club, the BDSM club, Enigma is playing.
Yes, exactly. Like, if you want some 90s nostalgia shit, absolutely watch this movie. But if you don't want to see women being villainized for having mental illness and being a little bit queer, you avoid it.
Yeah. It's really
weird. It's a weird movie. It's just a weird movie.
Yeah.
Like, what?
All right.
It's got weirder, though. I will say that I thought it was like a weird movie. I watched it and I'm like, this is so much fucking weirder than I remember. And like, now that I know what boundaries are, I'm like, no one has them in this movie.
Oh, absolutely not.
No one knows what they are. No one has them. No one acknowledges them. Boundaries are just not a thing. And everyone's like, this won't negatively impact my life. Let me tell you, folks, guess what? Boundaries save lives.
Amen. See you later.
Bye.